Hello everyone. I am Pugarendi here, and I am here to explain about a very important topic in Agile development, which is ATDD, Acceptance Test Driven Development. Today we are going to explore one of the most powerful and collaborative practices in Agile development, which is called Acceptance Test Driven Development, ATDD. In traditional software development, testing often comes after the coding is done. But Agile flips this in different way that using a ATDD, it helps us to test actually before the coding is even written. The key principle is simple. Before we start development, the whole team, developers, product owner and testers sit together to really define what is done means. And these definitions are written as acceptance tests and which describe how the system should behave from the user's point of view. So instead of building something first and testing afterwards, ATD helps us to build a right thing from the beginning of the development. And this helps us to meet users' expectations and business goals. So it encourages collaborations, reduces work and increases confidence that what we deliver truly meets the business goals and expectations. In this session, we will look how the ATD fits into the Agile and how it differs from other test-driven development like TDD and BDD, and how the acceptance test guide the entire development process from requirement to release. So by the end of the session, you will clearly understand about what is ATDD, how it works, and how it become a game changer for the Agile team, which is striving for quality, clarity, and customer satisfaction. So we will see briefly about it from now onwards. So let us start our video about what is ATD, Acceptance Test Driven Development. Analogous to Test Driven Development, Acceptance Test Driven Development (ATD) involves team members with different perspective like users, end users, customers, development and testing collaborate to write acceptance tests in advance of implementing features which we are needed. So in ATD, test automation plays a major role in development, and the result of set collaboration or requirements for the application. So this ATD is also referred to as another name called story test driven development, which is shortly told as SDDD. So now let's talk about very important concept, Agile collaboration concept, which is three amigos. In Agile, we often tell that communication is very key principle to build a right product. But communication is not just about sprint meeting or sprint review or stand-up, and it's about bringing a right person into the frame at the right time to build a right product. So that's exactly what this three amigos represents. These three amigos means that it's three very important principles, key principles that every Agile team should follow before starting a development. So it consists of firstly the business or product owner, who represents what needs to be built and why it's built and its value. And secondly, it is a developer who focuses on how it's to be built it, and at last it will be on a tester or a QA engineer who thinks about how we can verify that it works correctly. So these three perspectives, business, development and testing, come together to discuss each user stories before implementation. So the goal is to uncover ambiguous and identify edge cases and define acceptance criteria. So there are it comes with questions which will be asked in overall process. First, we start with what exactly should happen if the user enters invalid data, and secondly, it is how should the system respond to in this case, and is the acceptance test clear enough for the everyone. So these are the questions will be asked, and it will be moved on for further. So now let's understand what acceptance criteria really means in ATD. So acceptance criteria are the conditions that must be true for a user story that to be considered complete and accepted by the customers. In simple terms, it describes what should happen, who performs the action, and what the expected result is, all from the user's perspective. So a good acceptance criteria generally contains three parts. First, it is actors, who is performing the action, and secondly, it is a verb describing a behavior, what action they are doing, and at last it is observable results, what visible outcomes or changes should occur. So to make this more structured, we often write acceptance criterion using given, when, then format. So we start with clear explanation for given, when, and then. Given describes precondition, the starting situation. When describes the action, what the user does, and then describes the expected result, what should happen next. Let's look at a simple example. User story: a social networking enthusiast uploads a profile picture. Given the user has a valid Facebook account and a digital picture on her computer, so when she uploads the picture to Facebook, then her picture should be visible to all friends in her network. So here is another example, user story 2. So a social networking enthusiast searches for a friend by name. Given a user is trying to find a friend on Facebook. When the user reaches for the person using the name, then their profile pictures and other details should be displayed. So as you can see, this format makes the behavior clear and testable and easy for everyone to understand, for developers, testers and customers to understand and to make the further move. That's a real strength of well-written acceptance criteria. They should eliminate ambiguity and set a common understanding of what done truly means. So these all the steps and given, when, then format and user stories to follow and to get valid output for Atdd to make the work simpler and make the agile development more clear and simple and more focus on the goals and expectations of business peoples and end users. So the main goal of the Atdd is to make sure that what we are building truly matches what the customer needs and expects before we write a single line of code. So here is how the process flow continues, and it's gone by step in flexible and sequential format. So first we start with step 1, write acceptance test cases along with user stories. So in the first step, the entire team, developers, testers and product owners collaborate with the customer or end users. So together they write acceptance test cases that describe what the system should do. So these tests are written in a plain language, not technical terms. These tests are written in a different format for each of this functionality. For example, instead of saying validate input field, we might say when a user enters an invalid email, an error message should appear. So this completes step 1. So step 2 is define associated acceptance criteria. Once the acceptance tests are drafted, the team clearly defines what the success means for each story. These are called acceptance criteria, measurable conditions that must be met for the story to be considered done. So they help remove ambiguity and make the expectations crystal clear. So this completes step 2 with the crystal clear objectives. So when we come to step 3, it starts with develop code based on those acceptance tests and criteria. Now the development begins. Developers write code that fulfills the previously agreed upon acceptance test. The focus here is not just on making the future work done and features are all clarified and met, but on making it pass for those defined tests. So step 4 is run the acceptance test. So this starts from once the code is ready, the acceptance tests are executed to verify if the implementation behaves as expected. So if the code is passes, it means that the features truly meets the end users and users expectations. So if it fails, the term comes to end and the team goes back, refines the code and tests again until it works correctly. So this completes at step 4. When you come to step 5, it starts with automate the acceptance tests. After validations, these acceptance tests are automated so that they can run quickly and repeatedly. This automation ensures consistency and saves during future sprints or release. At this stage, we follow an iterative cycle, repeat step of 3 to 5 until all the user stories for the iteration are completed and verified. So when you come to step 6, automate the regression tests. Once the mean acceptance tests are stable, they are added to regression tests usable. And regression tests help make sure that new changes haven't broken anything existing functions and functionalities for users. So at last we enter into step 7, which says run the automated regression test to ensure continuous regression. Finally, we run automated regression tests regularly, sometimes even daily, to achieve a continuous regression. This helps to maintain a software quality throughout the development and enable continuous delivery. In short, Atdd isn't just about writing tests, it's about building shared understanding, verified business expectations, and ensure continuously quality as the software evolves. So these are all the steps we follow for accomplishing the Atdd. So now I hope we all are clear about what is Atdd and how it is fit into Agile development system, and how it can be useful for different peoples like customers, end users, and developers. So thank you, and get more knowledge of Agile with this video. Thank you.